Can you imagine a 7-year-old girl who can control a pack of strong Dobermans with a serious yet deeply understanding expression? That's the story of Lucy, a little girl from a small town nestled in the heart of the Pacific Northwest. She doesn't speak much, but the bond she shares with these dogs has left the entire town in awe. No professional trainer, no police officers, just a child who you'd expect to be playing with pets. But Lucy is different. These massive, powerful dogs protect her from unimaginable dangers, responding to her every subtle gesture and whisper. But there's more to this story. You'll need to watch to find out why a seemingly harmless decision could cause a ripple effect that shakes Lucy's world and the entire community. Imagine this. A 7-year-old girl, barely able to reach the kitchen counter, has the power to command a pack of massive, muscular Dobermans, moving in perfect sync with just a subtle gesture or a whispered word. Lucy, from a quiet town tucked away in the Pacific Northwest, isn't your average child. She doesn't talk much, and certainly not to anyone except for the dogs. But those dogs, they listen, they obey, they protect her with a loyalty most people can only dream of. No professional trainers, no police officers, just Lucy and her incredible bond with these animals. It's something so rare and so extraordinary that it captures the entire town's attention, leaving them in awe and, honestly, a little bit afraid. But here's where it gets intense. Lucy isn't just training these dogs, she's surviving with them. After a tragic accident that took her parents, Lucy became a shell of herself, retreating into a world of silence and fear. But these dogs, with their uncanny ability to sense her needs, have become her family. They saved her from more than just the grief of losing her parents. They've saved her from a life of isolation and despair. However, not everyone is so understanding. Eleanor Peterson, a self-appointed guardian of the community, begins questioning Lucy's safety. And before long, what started as admiration for this special connection turns into a battle. A battle that will force the town to reckon with the true power of loyalty, trust, and love. What will happen next? Keep watching, because the real story is just about to unfold, and it's going to leave you speechless. Have you ever seen a child who doesn't speak, yet commands a pack of dogs like they were born to obey her? Lucy, a 7-year-old girl from a quiet town in the Pacific Northwest, possesses a bond with her Dobermans that defies explanation. No whistles, no leash, just a glance, a flick of her hand, and they move together, without hesitation, without question. It's a gift so rare, so powerful, that it leaves the entire town captivated, yet deeply unsettled. But behind the silence and the incredible connection lies a painful story that no one in Hyannis could have ever anticipated. 2 years ago, Lucy lost her parents in a tragic accident, a memory that still haunts her every waking moment. But it's not just the loss that keeps her silent, it's the trauma. The world around her no longer made sense, and Lucy retreated into the only place that still felt safe, with her dogs. She stopped speaking to people, retreating into her own world where only the dogs understood. And those dogs, strong and protective, didn't just become her family. They became her lifeline. They kept her grounded, kept her safe from nightmares and memories that would have otherwise swallowed her whole. But when the town's well-meaning but overly protective guardian, Eleanor Peterson, begins to question Lucy's safety, the delicate balance of Lucy's world is threatened. The community, divided, begins to argue, over whether this special bond between child and animal is a gift or a danger. It's the beginning of a battle that will test not only Lucy's connection with her dogs, but the very foundation of what it means to heal, to trust, and to love. What will happen when the town forces Lucy to choose between the life she's built and the love that saved her? Stay tuned, because what happens next will leave you questioning everything you thought you knew about family, healing, and forgiveness. What if everything you thought you knew about a child's safety, trust, and love was suddenly turned upside down? Lucy, a 7-year-old girl with an extraordinary gift, commands a pack of Dobermans in a way that leaves the entire town in awe. But behind the power of that connection lies something darker, something that no one in Hyannis could have ever expected. Her silence, her bond with the dogs, and her ability to move through life with them as her only family are all part of a deeper story, one that's marked by grief, trauma, and the desperate need to feel safe again. When the town's concerned citizen, Eleanor Peterson, begins to question Lucy's relationship with the dogs, she's driven by a genuine belief that these massive, powerful animals are a danger. She watches from her window, every movement Lucy makes, every quiet interaction between girl and dog, and she starts a campaign to separate them. What Eleanor doesn't know, what no one could possibly understand, is that Lucy's survival depends on this bond. Dogs are not just her companions, they are her protectors, her connection to a world she can no longer trust. And as Eleanor rallies the community, she unknowingly pushes Lucy to the brink. What happens when the community decides that Lucy's world is too dangerous for her to live in as it is? The tension builds, the stakes rise, and the fate of this remarkable child and her dogs hangs in the balance. This is no longer just about a child and her pets. It's about a battle for Lucy's right to heal, and for the rest of the town to understand the true power of love and loyalty. Stay tuned, because this story is far from over. What happens when a town becomes divided over a child's most cherished bond? The bond between her and the animals that saved her life. The growing controversy surrounding Lucy and her pack of Dobermans reaches a boiling point. What began as a quiet, extraordinary connection between a traumatized child and her dogs has now turned into a public spectacle, drawing the attention of everyone from worried neighbors to local authorities. Eleanor Peterson, a respected community member, believes she's doing the right thing by advocating for the removal of the dogs. But what she doesn't realize, what no one in the town truly understands, is just how much these dogs mean to Lucy. Not just as pets, but as her family, her protectors. The very reason she's still standing. As the days go on, Lucy's world becomes a battleground. The more Eleanor pushes, the more the town seems to split. People rally behind Lucy, claiming she's not just a child in need of protection but a symbol of resilience, while others claim that this bond is dangerous and unnatural. Even as support grows, the weight of the situation is too much for Lucy's grandparents to bear. The stress is starting to take its toll, and the dogs, each a fierce protector, remain on high alert, sensing the mounting pressure. The situation comes to a head when Eleanor's campaign forces Lucy into the center of a courtroom, where emotions run high, and the future of her relationship with her dogs is at stake. What will happen when Lucy finally has to choose between the life she's known and the community that no longer seems to understand her? One thing is certain. The outcome of this battle will change everything. The real question is, who will stand by Lucy when the dust settles? Stay tuned, this is only the beginning. What if the truth you've been hiding for years finally comes to light, and the consequences are far more devastating than you ever imagined? Eleanor Peterson never expected her well-intentioned campaign to save a child from what she perceived as danger would backfire in such an explosive way. As her public crusade to separate Lucy from her beloved dogs gains momentum, something unexpected happens. The truth about the accident that took Lucy's parents is revealed. Eleanor wasn't just a concerned citizen. She was the one who ran the red light, the one responsible for the tragedy that shattered Lucy's world. The revelation hits the town like a thunderclap. The woman who once stood at the front of every meeting, preaching about safety and morality, is now revealed to be the source of the very trauma she claimed to protect Lucy from. The guilt that Eleanor had buried deep within her comes rushing to the surface, and with it, a whirlwind of public backlash. Suddenly, her self-righteous campaign becomes a desperate attempt to alleviate her own unbearable shame. As the truth spreads, Lucy's world shifts yet again, but this time, the town's perspective begins to change. They begin to see Lucy not just as the child with the extraordinary bond with her dogs, but as a victim of something far darker. A victim whose trust in the very people meant to protect her has been shattered. With Eleanor's confession, the town must decide whether to stand behind the girl they once doubted, or whether they'll continue to ignore the powerful, undeniable bond that has saved her. Imagine this. The entire town, divided between love and suspicion, holds its breath as Lucy and her dogs stand at the center of a courtroom, their future hanging in the balance. The judge, calm but firm, weighs the testimonies, the evidence, and the truth that has slowly unraveled. The battle for Lucy's future is not just about the dogs, it's about the very heart of her survival. For years, Lucy has been silently navigating a world of trauma, but those dogs, they are her lifeline, her only family. And now, her entire existence is at risk because of a decision that seems so simple, yet so complicated. As Eleanor Peterson sits in that courtroom, watching Lucy's delicate figure next to her grandparents, a wave of guilt crashes over her. She's been the catalyst for this conflict, pushing for the removal of the dogs, convinced that she was protecting the child. But what she didn't realize, what no one realized, was how deep Lucy's bond with these animals goes. The dogs aren't just pets, they are guardians of Lucy's broken heart, keeping the darkness at bay. The moment Lucy speaks, her voice shaky but full of quiet strength, the room falls silent. With just a few words, she shatters the tension. She doesn't just tell the court about the dogs, she tells them about the love and protection they've given her. And in that moment, everything changes. The court, the town, and Eleanor all must face the truth. This child, these dogs, they aren't just surviving, they're healing. And maybe, just maybe, they have the right to stay together. The fate of Lucy's future will be decided, but not by those who doubted her. It will be decided by the bond that can never be broken. The story of Lucy and her bond with her dogs teaches us the profound healing power of unconditional love and loyalty. In a world where trauma often isolates us, the connections we build, whether with people or animals, can be a lifeline, helping us navigate our darkest moments. It reminds us that healing isn't linear and that sometimes the very things we think are unconventional or misunderstood are exactly what we need to survive. Above all, it shows us the importance of empathy, understanding, and the courage to defend what truly matters, even when the world questions it.